found the camera really easy to use. I pretty much turned it on and started pointing it around the roof, and within about 30 seconds I found it was probably about 1.5 metre square piece of roof that had no insulation at all. So for me it found a big problem straight away. I then basically waited until a bit later at night when the roof space had cooled down, and that made it a lot more obvious where some of the problems were in our place. So we found there was a decommissioned gas wall furnace that had a flue going up through the roof, and there was no insulation, of course, anywhere near that from when it was used. But now it's not used anymore and it's been disconnected completely. I can fix that up by putting some insulation around it. I also found at some point in the past there were ceiling fans installed into some of the bedrooms, and when that happened the insulation was just thrown to the side and left there. So that was a pretty simple fix. I jumped up into the roof and replaced that insulation. And when I used the camera, you could actually see it was completely, nearly almost black, that spot on the roof, because it was so much colder than the rest of the roof. And as soon as I replaced that insulation, it was matched the rest of the roof with the colour, so it fixed that issue. I also found in our kitchen there was a spot above our kitchen cupboards where there'd been multiple holes drilled in the ceiling, I assume to try and find a spot to run a cable or a pipe at some point. And they must have been in the wrong spot because there was nothing in them. So there was one spot within about 1/2 metre where there was three big holes drilled into the roof. And they were just sitting under insulation, and when I put the camera onto that area of the roof, there was a distinct dark spot there. So I jumped up into the roof and found that, and sealed those holes up just with some spare plaster and some acrylic sealant. And as soon as I did that and put the insulation back on that area, it made that area back to its normal, nice, pretty warm colours. I also used the camera to check around door seals and window seals a bit. I did have some weather stripping and things like that on the front door of the house, but it seems like it's maybe not working as well as I thought it was, because there was definitely some air leakage, especially around the bottom of the door. So I'm going to have to find a way of sealing that a bit better, because the door's not quite flush, which I'm sure most houses it isn't. The other big thing I found, which I suspected was an issue, we had a split system installed probably about 18 months ago, and it replaced a really old split system that had stopped working. And pointing the camera at the split system, you could see the lovely warm air coming out of the heater, but then there was a massive cold spot, and that cold spot was basically where the wall penetration was for that split system. And it appears that when they put the pipes through the wall, they haven't sealed anything at all. So there's just cold air coming straight in from outside the building. So I need to do some research there to try and find a proper way to seal it without damaging any of the pipes or cables or anything like that. But that should make a difference as well, because I had noticed that the split system thermostat didn't kick in when I would expect it to, and I think it was being affected by that cold draft coming through from outside at night.
I can't believe how valuable this camera's been.
It's been fantastic. Some of the stuff I thought might have been an issue, but just the amount of little insulation spots in the roof I found that weren't properly done, or the insulation might have been there, but it was caught up on a rafter or something, so it wasn't sitting flush with the roof, and that was enough just to affect its effectiveness. So I probably spent 2 or 3 hours in the roof space on the weekend tidying up the insulation, and it's definitely been valuable, and yeah, as I said, quite easy. And I've kept all the photos that I took with the camera, so I can then at some stage in the future do another round after I've fixed up all the issues I've found, and then see what the difference is.